You guys have done
Exactly,
wonderful.
one step at a time as well.
And
That
that's
it
why
might
it's
be
called
just
step by step.
step by step.
Yeah,
Exactly,
I love
that's
that.
why
I love
we came
that.
up with the name. And
Yeah.
it might be one supermarket now. It's going to be more, and then maybe it's going to be
Absolutely.
other companies and other
Absolutely.
places, parks and whatnot. So
It has
that
to.
eventually,
Yeah.
in an ideal environment, we can have a truly, inclusive society. That's
Yeah.
the inclusive everywhere.
Exactly. Welcome back to another episode of Community Conversations, and today we are going to have a powerful conversation about servicing a specific type of community. We have Olcay, who is the managing director, and I've literally said that wrong already, center manager for a holistic center called Step by Step here, where they focus on all needs, essentially.
Absolutely,
it's
yes.
a holistic educational center. So welcome, Olcay, to the conversation.
Thank you very much for inviting me here, Nikki. Thank you, I
Yes.
appreciate it. It's great to take part in this community conversations.
Yeah, I'm very, very grateful. I think that we've had several conversations, from just me learning about Step by Step to then me going into business and being able to meet with you guys. And you were just so welcoming and helpful with just us understanding the space. So I do truly, truly appreciate that. So thank you.
Thank you. That's great. Thank you. Appreciate that too.
So yes, let's get into the conversation. How did you get into this space from the beginning, special needs space?
Right. It's a long story. You'll find out about my age. But yeah, a long time ago, I started studying psychology, and that was the first step as we were studying abnormal child psychology.
Okay.
That was the first time that I started the interest in special educational field.
Okay.
And then I somehow ended up, I'm from Turkey, by the way. I studied in Istanbul.
Okay.
And I got married, and I moved to London. And I did further studies, and I also worked there in schools also. And I have a special education coordination degree from UK as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it developed like that, actually.
Okay.
And then over the years, experienced there, working and living in London and coming to Qatar.
Mm-hmm.
Initially, it was 2 years planned, but then, we ended up being here 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like a home in
Yeah.
Qatar. And then I feel actually blessed to have such a great community, taking part today in the community conversations is one, like this, a part of this, obviously. But knowing people around, the people that work in the field, the parents, stakeholders, and working on this together is a great blessing.
Yeah.
So it's good to have these connections.
Yeah. And I usually say, I forgot to ask this question, but why did you decide to join the conversation coming on today's show? I know that you could have easily said, no, not interested. So I'm just curious to know what made you say yes.
Because of I think that what you guys are doing here is amazing. We need more of this type of connection,
Awesome.
Connecting parents and the professionals and then other people in the field. We need more of this because this is the way we can, share expertise. We can share the exchange information.
Yeah.
Because in the end of the day, we're sharing the same vision, right?
Yeah.
A common vision. We have
Yeah.
a common vision together. So it matters.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, these things I worked in Istanbul and London and Qatar, and they are not easily available.
Yeah.
But any opportunity like this is great. So
Yeah.
that when you contacted me, I was happy to take part.
Awesome. Thank you. And I just think that you have loads and loads of knowledge that I hope that people can take away from today's conversation. So going back to 20 years in Qatar,
Yeah, yes.
11 of those years were, spent at Step by Step. What
Exactly.
keeps you motivated in that space?
Oh, right. What keeps me motivated? Well, obviously, one of the most important things that, the smallest achievements that we see, we observe with our children, as opposed to, say, for example, working in a typical school setup, that the kids have a curriculum, they work on that, they learn things at an expected timeline, whereas with us it's different because every child is unique, every child is different, and we provide individually tailored programs for each child. And sometimes, just to give an example, teaching one child to say yes or no,
Yeah.
or some simple thing to indicate their needs and wants. Sometimes it takes 1 year,
Yeah.
2 years,
Yeah.
and when that happens, that is just the greatest achievement
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
I would say things like this make me going.
Yeah.
And also, when I started this working in this field, initially, I always felt that it's something that, okay, you study, you work on it, you improve your skill sets, you read, and you practice more and things like that, and you become a better person, better professional. But it was not until we realized, only until when we efficiently work with parents, you become better in what you're doing. So that this is something happened that later in my career, basically.
Yeah.
And then we need to give credit to parents.
Yeah,
In
for
that
sure.
sense. And additionally, as a parent also myself, I struggled over the years with I have a son that dropped out of school, for example, because of some the issues that he had. And then while all these things happen, and you understand the parents' perspective better,
Yeah. Yeah.
whereas it was before, right, okay, we would recommend things to parents,
Right.
okay, do this, do that,
Yeah.
and it is, it's easier said than done.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But when I lived these difficult, went
Yeah.
through the same kind of difficulties, I realized, well, it's not as easy as that.
Yeah.
So it was quite a challenge over the
Yeah.
years, but
Yeah, but you guys are doing absolutely wonderful. I personally had an opportunity to visit and love just what you guys are doing, especially the vocational aspect of it, because these children turn
you
into
work in that
adults,
as well, exactly,
So
yes.
you
Amazing.
guys, I love to see what you guys are doing. And for those who don't know about Step by Step, what would you, if you were to, describe Step by Step, how would you describe it, and what would you say the mission is?
We try, when we work with children, we try to think, as I said earlier, every child is unique, every child has got different sets of abilities, and it's not just one way to solve everything. We need to think of the individual child and think everything around. That's why we like to use the word holistic. So we do have a team of other professionals like speech and language therapists, occupational therapists, and special education teachers that work together. And what we make a point to our team as well, that it's not, it shouldn't be an isolated work. That I do the speech therapy and I'll leave it like that, or I do the occupational therapy, I'll leave it there. It's not like that. It needs to be done together as a team.
Yeah.
Efficiently, including the parents as well.
Yeah.
So that we do see parents as part of the team, and every time we set the goals, and it's always a draft until parents say okay, and until we get the input from parents, and only after that it's a final program that's established.
I try to tell my parents all the time, like, you have the final say. These are all suggestions. Yes, they are experts, but, we're collaborating together. So you bring your input to the table. As far as teams, you lead a team of specialists, So what do you think is key to building a strong collaborative team in this field?
I think that we need to be all in the same page. Like I said, working closely with parents, ensuring that everyone is communicating well with parents. That's we need to put great emphasis on that. We actually, as a center, I would say maybe 10 years back or something like that, we would just do our sessions, group sessions and individual sessions, whatnot, and that will be it. Then we decided to do what we call pop-in sessions, so that we invite parents to come and pop into the sessions to take part. So they take part actively.
Wonderful.
Because in the end of the day, we realize that when we put in a program and we work on it alone, even as a team, it's still, it can't be as efficient as you want if you're not including the parents.
Exactly.
So when we started these pop-in sessions, so that would mean our team can be on the same page as the parents as well, updating them with what they've done with their children or child, and then what they can do at home to support, I don't know, communication, eating skills, toileting, whatever, And then And we realized that we can see much more significant progress.
Absolutely.
Because it's almost like, okay, we can't expect parents to be therapists, but it's, the support they get, they provide for their children with our, that support to them. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
And they're aware of that, and then they appreciate this as well. Another example on this note, actually, COVID times, for example, we were, as we were all stuck in our workplaces, offices, and it was quite a challenging time. And when we heard that, okay, we have to work from home, and I thought, oh my, how is that? It's going to be difficult.
Especially with the work that you guys do.
We're not talking about typically developing kids, and we're talking about providing speech, for example, support through the screen and all that. And then, you know what happened? Interestingly, we realized this was a great time to work with parents.
Yeah.
Because through the screen, the child was there, obviously, with the parents, either mom or dad, sometimes siblings or nannies, and whoever is there looking after the child. And this gave us an opportunity to explain what can be done more efficiently at that time to provide support for their child and how they can support at home. And it was a really great time that we connected well with parents. So that I do appreciate COVID times, unlike many people.
In that way, right? Yeah,
in that way, because of that, because we connected really well with parents. And that's one of the main reasons we thought, okay, hold on, this is working so well. Let's get them involved.
Exactly. And I think that after that you developed, that's where that kind of developed.
Exactly. And then after that, it took off, and then we came up with other initiatives.
Yeah.
Sometimes because of a conversation we have with our parents, for example, that we need to hear their voices. And because it can't be one-sided. Okay, we're professionals, we know what we're doing, and then you're going to have to take it or leave it. That's not going to work. But
that's the collaborative aspect of it, which I love. And I think that, what I always tell my parents too is that we are not medicine. Okay, like you have to collaborate with us. If you want these skills to be generalized in your home setting and other settings outside of these four walls where we do services, then this part is important for you to get involved. So you guys found the key to generalization. I appreciate that. What would you say makes your approach compared to other special educational settings here in Qatar unique? Every center has their own touch.
Right. Yes.
So what would you say would be yours?
This is a great question. Thank you for asking this, actually, because, again, I might repeat the same things, but again, I'm going to come to the parent, valuing parents' opinions and then giving them, hearing them, basically. So I think what made us different is over the years to get again I think it's better if I give an example. We do parent training for early bird training, what we call is we are trained by a National Autistic Society. PACC here is actually overseeing the program, and I'm licensed myself, and we have another the team member is also licensed, so that we provide the training to parents whose children newly diagnosed with autism for early years.
Got it.
So it's one of those training sessions we were doing, and then one parent just raised her voice and then said, listen, as we casually talking about doing stuff in Qatar, what do you do, where do you go, and things like that. So she said, we can't just do things just like other typical families do.
Yeah.
If you're going to say, for example, at a weekend when it's hot 50 degrees outside, what do? You go to a shopping center or a supermarket and then gather together your family and then pop in a car, and then you're there in a few minutes' time, and then you enjoy your day, maybe have a bit of food, and you come back. This wasn't the case for that parent. And then she almost had tears in her eyes. And then she's saying, well, we can't do this. To be able to do this, either I go on my own or my husband goes. We take turns, or we need to rely on someone who's going to volunteer to take look after our kids. And it's not an easy job to find someone that they can rely on. So it's such a hassle. And even if they try to take their child, and then when going to supermarket is so many things happening, lights and sounds, and overwhelming, and then what to do. And then this parent was also from Berlin.
Okay.
And then she said, that as we discussed, we came to this thing called autism hours or sensory friendly hours. That is
I love that. Yes, I did see
in some countries. And when I used to work in UK as well, there are a chain of supermarkets called Tesco's. They have autism hour. During this time, what they do is that they create a sensory-friendly hour during the quiet times,
Yeah.
so that it is, say, things like dimming lights, no announcements,
Yeah.
limiting the noises
Yeah.
and the machinery and things like that, and most importantly, training their staff
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
as to
Which is
when you have
important.
customers come in with autism and also children,
Yeah.
you know, how can you approach them? How
Yeah.
can you talk to them? What
Yeah.
can you do to support them when they are doing the shopping?
Yeah.
It's a, you know, important service
Absolutely.
to provide.
Absolutely.
I think all the supermarkets need to provide
Yes.
that. So we thought, you know, as the management, we thought like this parent is struggling, right? What can we do as a Center for Special Needs
Yeah.
to meet that need? Is there anything we can
Yeah.
do? So that we had the meeting, our director, Nasreen, she's another person that inspired me over the years.
Yes,
She's a
she was
parent
lovely. I was
also
able to meet with her as
you know, we
well.
had a discussion and then we thought, what can we do about this? And there are examples of this done in other countries. Why don't we do that
Yeah.
in Qatar?
Yeah.
You know, it can be done. So we discussed, and over the year, I mean, it took a long time. I would say a year or something
Yeah.
to get in touch with
Yeah.
companies, and then, you know, so many people, we have meetings, and then some people didn't want to know
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Some people were, well, not sure about it, as this is a new
Yeah.
thing. Not me. And then in the end, we happened to meet a supermarket chain, and they were very helpful. We were blessed,
Nice.
actually. And then we ended up having conversations and about how to put in this initiative in
Yeah,
place, because
yeah.
there's a need for it.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to talk too much about it, but you know, anyway, we initiated sensory-friendly hours, and this is the first in Qatar and in the Middle East, actually.
It is.
And then it is helping the families a great deal,
Yeah.
so that the staff are trained and they know how to approach, and they know aware about sensory challenges. And then, you know, things like reasonable adjustments in the environment, like dim lights and the sounds and things like that are put in place, and even a quiet corner in the branches, actually. So, and we had great feedback from parents. So I feel, coming to the point, that as a center, our difference is that we don't just provide, you know, intervention, group sessions, individual sessions, and we'll leave it there as this is what we paid for. Is this, we need to go beyond.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
What can we do more to be able to support parents?
I'm like smiling from ear to ear right now, because I just think that that is so important, so innovative. It's like, once again, you've mastered this concept of generalization of, this is what needs to happen in the community, right? So we talk about what needs to happen at home, but also this is what needs to happen in the community. And I love that you were able to train the staff and also let them know, like, this whole space needs to be shifted. If this is what you're going to do and cater to this group of community, this is what needs to happen. And they were on board, and it happens on a consistent basis. You've essentially added and changed the dynamics of the ecosystem when it comes to our community, and I love that. And I've seen it online, and I love what you guys are doing. So very, very grateful that, you know, and I can imagine that the parents are also grateful. So I love that. It just doesn't happen in these four walls, and that is collaboration.
Absolutely, this is the key. I think that you know, and it's a duty that we feel that is our duty, other than what we typically do. And I feel everyone working in the field should take this duty up and then see, okay, what else can we do to be able to create a truly inclusive society.
Absolutely.
You know?
There's so much that needs,
so
just
much
like
that needs to
building
be
a
done.
new country,
Exactly.
building all of this plays roles, you know, from just going to the dentist, going to the doctor, like everything needs to be inclusive. One look, you guys have done wonderful.
One step at a time as well.
And that's
it
why
might
it's called
be just
step by step.
Step by step.
Yeah,
exactly.
I love
That's
that.
Why
I love
we came
that.
up with the name. And it might be one supermarket now, it's going to be more, and then maybe it's going to be other companies and other places, parks and whatnot. So
it has
that
to.
Eventually, you know, in an ideal environment, we can have a truly, you know, inclusive society that, you know, the inclusive everybody.
Exactly. I love that. So you've been here nearly 20 years. So
more than 20
years, but working in this space here 20 years, but 11 at Step by Step. I'm trying to get my math right. So that means that you have seen the community, the country, the landscape evolve. What would you say has been some of the biggest, you know, shifts when it comes to inclusion and support for neurodivergent children here in Qatar.
Right. Yes. If we focus on these 20 years, yeah, we've seen a lot over the years.
Yeah.
And then from the early years where there weren't much provision, I mean, I would say there is a special education provision in the government schools, actually, Qatar, independent schools, and they're utilizing it. But when it comes to international schools education system, it's more limited.
Okay.
But things are getting better.
Yeah.
There are new laws and regulations.
Yeah, I did see that.
And then I've seen in one of the groups, actually recently, a couple of days ago, someone posted that Qatar Emir also have new laws
Nice.
with regards to people with disabilities, which is great.
Yes.
So there are a lot of movement going on,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of support. And then 2030 vision of Qatar
Yeah.
also has the one of the social pillars
Yeah.
mentions about inclusive society,
Exactly.
and then the Qatar working towards that.
Yeah.
So these are, that hopefully if we can make it, that work together.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned
Yeah.
as well, we need to work together in this one, all the stakeholders,
Yep.
to be able to achieve that and create an inclusive society.
Yeah.
So these are good things. Over the years, we've seen that,
Yeah.
especially the last few years, there's a lot of things happening, and we have a Center for Special Needs. We are licensed by Ministry of Education, and we have group meetings with the ministry.
Exactly.
They call us, and then we discuss about the concerns and how we can provide better
Yeah.
services and things like that, which we didn't have before.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's good to see these, but I think there is more room. I mean, there's room for development.
Right.
We can do more.
Yeah.
That
Always,
hopefully all these
always.
will come eventually.
Absolutely.
And but other than this, I firmly believe individually, and we can do a lot as
Yeah,
well if
I
we
agree.
really put our hearts into it.
Exactly. And literally you guys have done so much, one idea at a time, one conversation with, a family member, that you're servicing, and you hear what they need and you make it happen. And I think that's really admirable. So I love that.
Yeah.
You also have the Hirfa. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes, I was going to mention
Okay,
that as well.
so
That's right. Yeah.
and that's huge to me because, my family going back in the States, that's what we do. We help, we have independent homes. So I when I came here, I'm like, well, what happens when they become adults? What do we do? And I've been here quite some time. So where are the adults now? So I just love that this is the program. And I think before you guys put this out, when I first met you guys, I just saw the space and I was so inspired. I love that you have set up these different spaces to practice, the vocational aspects. So now, please, yes, tell us more about the Hirfa.
Yes. That Hirfa project started quite a while ago. It was just that we had to make sure everything is in the, is prepared and nicely put together, and have we wanted to have a good action plan for that. So we actually visited places like Dubai.
Mm-hmm.
They have some good spaces, vocational learning schools. For people with disabilities. I'm using the terminology disability. It's not the most ideal, but it is officially used. So there is a huge space, school, vocational school in Dubai. We went to visit and see how they were working. We met the director there and get some ideas, and we thought that can be done here as well.
Yeah.
So we started the initiative with this in mind, that, again, over the years, the same thing, we're coming back to the same thing, again, listening actively to parents.
Absolutely.
When the parents came to us, they, that their child came, and over the years, and then they maybe turned 16, 17, 18, and then they started saying, what's next?
What's next?
What's going to happen to our children? Are they going to be stuck at home? And then they're able to do a lot of things. So, and so over the years, seeing that, we thought, we have to do something about this as well. So we have we initiated Hirfa. It's got we have a license and everything. It's a separate entity basically, but as step-by-step thing, we came up with the idea initially, and then now it's working on its own.
Nice.
Which is great. We have the licenses and everything in place, which is also great. But it wasn't easy, but we managed to do that.
I can imagine.
But yes, again, like you guys are doing the Life Skills Hub. Then when we heard that as well, I think it's a great initiative because these services are greatly needed, and there's not a lot of them in the community. So anyway, with Hirfa, we, especially in my kept thinking of students who won't be able to easily employed for different reasons. Maybe they don't talk readily, they like to stay quiet for whatever reason, but they are able to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
So we thought, okay, it's not easy to find employment for them. Why don't we do this so that they can take part in Hirfa?
Yeah.
So Hirfa is a crafts and art studio, by the way.
Yeah.
And then we create our students with our there's a support staff. They create corporate gifts and then other artisanal the items, and then and whatever they can contribute, they do that. Say, for example, maybe decoupage, part of the decoupage that they might do, or maybe they do packing, or some of them they do, data entry, how much an item costs, and then calculating that, because he's good at that. He might not be able to talk, but he's good at that, and then we utilize that skill. So we do a basic assessment to see where that young person is, and then what their preference is, what they're good at, and based on that, we take them on board and say, okay, you can take part on this, and then they get paid for this. Obviously,
that's amazing. And it's all inside of this center. Right?
No, this is a separate space that we have. This is separate from step by step.
Got it.
And so it's been a couple of years basically for this, and there's still, again, we need to improve in many things, and we need to get our aim to employ more students, more young people. So we're working towards that. We're in touch. We're communicating with some stakeholders and companies, and hopefully
it builds.
We're expanding. Yes, exactly. So we'll be able to employ more students, young people.
Just like the center, step by step, right? I'm sure, just like everyone, you started off with a small batch of students, and it's grown, right? So that is the same. I could foresee with that second project is it growing.
We started with 4 students. That was 2011. Now we have with all the programs we provide is around 150 students.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
And over the years, and we're growing. And this is a dynamic number, mind you. It's not static like a typically, like a mainstream setup. But a lot of things happening, and we're happy to have all these families, and we're happy to work with them, and then hoping, obviously, that, and hope that we make a difference in their lives.
And as you are, I can honestly say that. So I have several, families that speak very highly of the center, and I've been in this space myself. And I was blown away, and that was 4 or 5 years ago. I feel like since the last time I've been in this space.
You should come back and try.
I would love to come
please.
visit.
We have a training cafe. We are training our
students. I remember
students.
that was,
And then we are practice serving coffee and things like that, and very good quality coffee as well. And then our students are very competitive. So please come back and have our coffee, meet our students. We'll be happy.
Would love to.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to kind of get to your personal and passion. So, you spoke about art in the Hirfa project, which made me feel like, okay, wait, did you kind of start this art project as well? Because I know that art is something that you truly enjoy and design through, any type of age. How does that interest feed into your work or worldview? And were you able to take part in building that for the Hirfa program? Because art is your middle name. So,
Art is my own therapeutic intervention. So as you can imagine, over the years, yourself how it feels sometimes, that there are days that, I want things to happen, but it doesn't, things don't happen the way I want. So that, you get stressed out, you get frustrated and all that. So my intervention is the art, basically. So personally, I do the Iznik Ottoman style underglaze painting. It's a bit long name, but yes. So that in my spare time, whenever I have a chance. So that's basically, it's almost like a redirection.
Okay.
So that I don't have to think of the stresses that, as a professional, as a parent, as a parent of a child who dropped out of school because the education system couldn't meet his needs. That's, the stresses that brings about. Or as a professional, you want everything perfect.
Exactly.
But it's impossible, as you can imagine. Nothing is ever perfect. And there are some days you feel that down, and then you think, I need my intervention now. So
absolutely,
when I have a chance, I do this one. And how it is reflected and it is working with Hirfa, definitely it is very closely related because of my personal interest in art. We have a team for Hirfa. We always discuss about what arts and crafts items that we can come up with.
Yeah.
On that note, actually, we are also part of academic committee of Qatar Museums Authority.
Nice.
And we are the only institution at the moment that represent a special educational center.
Job well done.
And then community.
Yeah.
And so what we do here in this committee, we discuss about, that what we call CAP, curriculum alignment programs and lesson plans and things like that. And it's mostly to do with art and history and things like that. So we come up with ideas as Hirfa, and then we make suggestions. And I'm not the only artistic person in the team. There are many very talented people. We are so blessed to have them as well. One of our special educators is extremely talented. I envy her so much. I wish I had her skills as well. So she contributes. Other team members, our therapists contribute. So we brainstorm and then come up with ideas for Hirfa to develop. For example, this year's the plan, CAP plan, is to come up with Qatar heritage-related products. What can we do?
Nice.
So we had a meeting about that. And at Hirfa, and our students are gonna discuss and produce Qatar heritage-related items.
Yeah.
And things like coasters and then tote bags and things like that.
And
But
now
all
we're bringing
to do
the
with
culture
that places that of historical importance in Qatar.
Yeah,
so
I think that's
everything
awesome.
kind of goes together.
Yeah,
that
it seems like that's what's happening right now.
So I think this is the key to success as well. So everyone brings about their own, expertise, but also interest as well. That other people in the team also do the same kind of thing. So, so you end up coming up with great ideas.
Yeah,
I think.
and that's once again collaboration. It's so important.
It's not a one-man job, definitely.
Literally, from just staff to family to community. So I love that. And I think that you guys thrive in that space, like all the collaborations that you're able to do really come to life. What would you say is the most rewarding about seeing children and young adults grow in confidence in this space? Because 11 years, you have seen babies turn into adults in this space, exactly, right? Yeah. So what would you say?
I like to give answer, the answer with an example. Actually, it will make, I think it'll be easier to visualize the whole thing. And every day, obviously when I go to, that you have a stressful day at home, you come to the office, and first thing in the morning, I have one of the students coming and giving me a hug and say good morning.
Yeah.
That alone is a great blessing. And then that totally changes my day. And then I have a great positive day. This is one example, a very simple example. Another thing that makes me very happy and motivated is, for instance, over the years, you mentioned one boy, a little boy who was who couldn't continue in the mainstream school, and basically mainstream school said we can't deal with him, we don't have the services. So so parents were on their own basically. They didn't know where to go, and they approached us, and then we started working with this young person, and then over the years he developed so much, and then to the point that when he turned 18, we had a chance to find employment for him.
Nice.
And then, and you know how it feels yourself, And so we were over the moon when we had that, right? Okay, after all this training, he's be able to have a job on his own and then whatnot. So, in fact, the parents invited me to the interview as well. So that's
amazing.
Yes, we went together, and then we met with the employers, and then we had a nice conversation. And during that interview, the most important point was that our student, who was chucked out from school basically, because of he was not educable. The basic school said we can't educate him. He's not capable. This is what.
And then look at now.
And look at him now. And this is the interview. And he was negotiating with the employers and saying, well, this position is great, but I prefer also this one because of my abilities and things like that. I was
I'm
just so
sure you were
happy.
so proud.
I
That's
was
such
so
a
proud,
proud
and I thought, oh
moment.
wow,
Yeah.
this is a moment of it was amazing.
Absolutely.
I never forget that time.
Yeah.
And then, but coming to the point, he was employed, and then he's still going on well. And then he sometimes writes to me and says, "Well, I'm getting paid. I'm gonna have my own space soon and things like
That's
that."
the
So we're
goal,
still in
right?
touch. Yeah, exactly.
Independency.
So this is true success to
Yes,
me.
I
That
agree.
from my perspective, that not just providing therapy intervention and
Yep.
stuff and letting it go, but the true success, knowing
Absolutely.
that the young person that you work with
Yes.
is independent
Yeah.
and is contributing to society with the support your team as a whole you
Absolutely.
provided.
Absolutely.
And then he's happy, and then the family is happy. This is the true success.
And you were able to
I
educate
feel,
him,
yeah. So
like
I
that.
feel proud for that.
Absolutely. I totally,
And that
totally
makes me
understand.
going. That makes
Yeah.
me motivated.
Same. I get you. Totally understand.
You know that,
I
right?
definitely
You know that
get
well.
you.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's like sometimes they're counted out and you're like, I believe in this, I believe in my team also. I know what
Absolutely.
my team is capable of, but I also know that we can work with any child if we, collaborate, come
Absolutely.
with the right, interventions. Anything is possible, Okay, so if you could give one message to a parent raising a neurodiverse children, what would it be?
Don't give up. Because over the years we had many parents with, they cried, they got upset, they were angry, rightly enough, because of the reasons, very valid
Yeah.
reasons, that they couldn't have the right support
Yeah.
at the right time. So, but I would say, don't give up. There's a light at the end of the tunnel,
Yeah.
and there's a solution for everything.
Yeah.
This is what I would say to them.
Yeah.
And with the right support, the kids, the young people can do so much,
Yeah.
so much.
Absolutely.
That that we as parents are surprised as well sometimes.
Yeah.
That oftentimes that the people with special needs or disabilities or whatever the terminology.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not that bothered about the
Same,
terminology, to be
same,
honest with
yeah.
you, either or that or that. But it's a fact that some people are in this situation and then they struggle. They don't have the right
Yeah.
support, and then how many others, so-called not those so struggling ones, see them as just describe them as a person with
Yeah.
special needs,
Yeah.
a person with autism.
And they're beyond that, man. Yep.
As someone with Down syndrome, and then they just give them one thing at a time.
Yeah.
They describe them with one thing only.
Yeah.
And say things like, well, he's autistic, he has
And
to
that
be
is
aggressive,
just,
and he's Down syndrome, oh, so cute,
Yeah.
and then like feeling pity.
Yeah.
Coming up to assumptions like
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
not realizing those young people have other sets of
Absolutely.
abilities, so much going
Yes.
on, other than the label
Yes.
we give them.
Yes.
There's so much else
I
in
agree.
them that
I agree.
we need to recognize, we need to understand.
Exactly. I agree.
Just before I finish, there's a very famous author, Adichie, actually, and her name is Adichie, and then she talks about single stories. I don't know if you heard.
No.
She gave an amazing TED talk once, and that was one of the most popular ones. And then she talks about single stories and describing people with single stories, basically saying, right, that person has got special needs, that person has got this and that. So, and that almost takes away their dignity.
Yeah. For sure.
Because you're totally disregarding the other things, to do with that
Absolutely.
person, but just describing them with one name,
Yes.
which is not fair.
Exactly.
You see.
Exactly.
So what I would say to the parents, don't let this happen. Your child is more than just one
Exactly.
label.
Exactly.
More than autism, more than
Yes,
Down syndrome,
exactly.
more than whatnot. And they can do, if they can't do this, they're gonna be able to do something else.
Exactly. We will find it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you get the right support, the right people, and then you can find out and explore all those things.
Yeah.
You and then the team and then your child as
Yeah.
well together. And sometimes
Absolutely.
it's a matter of being a detective,
Yeah.
But it will come.
Yes,
It will come,
absolutely.
and then finally you can find that they can be independent as well, and they can contribute to society.
Because that's what we want. That is the
Exactly,
goal.
yeah.
Thank you so much. That
you,
was such a
thank
great
you.
conversation. I mean, my last question is, what's next for Step by Step?
Right, at the moment we are working really hard on Hirfa, obviously, other than what we do at step by step. We're on the sideline, we're
Yeah.
working on that. Sensory friendly hours, again, that we're expanding to other places, and we need to see it more
Yeah.
because, like I said, for an inclusive, accessible community, this is needed.
Yeah.
And there's so many other projects
Yeah, I'm
that
sure.
we always
Yeah.
brainstorm. Our team, again, it's not one person's job,
Yeah.
but as we talk about, when we have the brainstorming sessions, as a team, and
Yeah.
if someone comes up, what about this?
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
So let's get the parents involved and let's go, and so many projects. So I think so much more in the future that is in our plate, and but we don't mind.
Yeah.
This is our duty. Like
Yeah.
I said, we need to do more than what we have in
Exactly.
our books. It's not
Exactly.
just a tick mark that okay, I've finished my duties
Yeah.
and then I can go home. It's not
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
It's with you all the time. We need to do more
Absolutely.
to work towards a
Absolutely.
truly inclusive
Yeah.
environment.
Exactly, exactly. Well, I just want to say thank you so much. Truly appreciate you having this conversation. It's always a pleasure to connect with you and just to see all the things that you guys have been working on. And I will definitely come and grab some coffee.
Please, yes.
I would love to
anytime.
see the change. It's been 4 years, so I would love to
Absolutely, yes,
definitely,
that's
check
Thank
it
you,
out.
Nikki, so much. This is just so special for us, especially knowing that you are also working so hard for employment and in Life
Yeah.
Skills Hub, and it's a great initiative. And then I hope we see more of this, and other people also contributing towards that. And we
Yeah.
should work on this together.
Ab-
Just thank
we
you.
will sit down
Thank
for
you.
sure. We
Yes.
will. We will. Well,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you. And thank you for all tuning in to this conversation. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Music. And I think the big takeaway as parents is to not give up. And I think for the community is to collaborate and be more intentional for, this mission of inclusion. And we will definitely drop the step-by-step information so you can check them out and visit. I'm assuming that we can send volunteers your
Yes.
way. And
Absolutely,
parents,
yes.
if you're looking for a center, then step-by-step is definitely the place to be. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll check you guys out next time.